A spaghetti squash with sauteed vegetables. Very healthy. I don't want to make this, but my wife has told me to make this, so I'm going to make it. So buy yourself a big squash. Get a sharp knife because you're going to need it. And I've already cut this. I'm strictly doing this for demonstration purposes. And there we go. Okay. So preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Make sure it's nice and hot. Get a sheet pan. Make sure you grease it down with, I prefer butter. That's what I use, but you can use non-calorie spray or whatever you want. Then, get a spoon. Paper towel action going on. And you want to string out all the seeds inside. Okay? Carve it. Once all that's done, I'm not going to bore you with the second one. You want to make sure it's nice and clear, because if you don't, it's going to get really soggy. Okay? So that's what you're looking for. And all you're going to do is you're going to take it and put it down. Okay? Put it in the oven. You're probably looking at about an hour. All right? But then take a small knife. Something thin, small. When it's in the oven, when you can push your knife down through the center and it goes in easily, and I mean very easily, it's ready to go. Okay? And now we'll do this and then I'll get back to you about the rest. Alright, so our spaghetti squash is done. Took about 35-40 minutes at 350. They're pretty big though. So now we get to make the spaghetti part of the spaghetti squash. What's really cool about this is that the reason it's called spaghetti squash is, and you'll see it as soon as I do it, you put that fork in and you strain it and it literally comes out like little noodles. And it's super easy to do. You just put your fork in, strain it out, scrape it like that. And then, and this is going to give you a fair amount because this is a pretty big squash. Just do that. Cut it from the top, cut it from the bottom, pull it out. You might have a little bit of stragglers there if you want to grab them, you can. But there you go. So what you're looking at now is 1/2 of a spaghetti squash. The other half I'll do in a second. You'll see how much we have. And then we're going to start cooking it up. All right? All right. Now we're ready to get to the fun part. Okay, we got a nice pan here. A little bit of olive oil in there, smoking hot. Lots of onions, okay? You want your onions...
How much?
Well, you're probably looking at about 3 cups of onions, okay? Because it's a really big squash, okay? Put them in. Remember, spaghetti squash doesn't have, it has its own flavor, but it's very innocuous. All right, so it's not going to have a ton of anything. Think of it like you're building flavor and creating flavor. So what we want to do with these onions, we want to be able to like saute them down, get the sugars out of them. That's what we're looking for. Okay. With spaghetti squash over here, like I said, it's not bland, but it doesn't have a lot of flavor. So you want to, you can be really creative with it. Okay, you can add things to it. We're going to make a very flavorful spaghetti squash today. And you can substitute a lot of these things, and I'll go through that with you as we do it. But for right now, what we want to do is we're going to saute these onions down. Then we're going to add, in about 5 minutes, we're going to add these orange peppers and yellow peppers. Okay, so I'll get back to you as soon as that's done. All right, so what we've done is it's called sweating the onions. So the onions now, they're starting to get a little translucent. They're getting a little clear, that kind of thing. And you want to add some salt, just a pinch of salt, about half a tablespoon, or half a teaspoon, pardon me. Some fresh ground pepper. Oh, that's starting to smell really good. Really good. Love onions. Okay, now we're going to grab our peppers. Now, peppers take time to cook because they're very dense. So, I'm going to add those in, just like this. Mix them up. Okay, now we're going to turn down the heat a little bit. Now, the biggest mistake people make when cooking, and I'm going to say this, and you'll hear me say it all the time. People cook on too high of heat, okay? Slow cooking is better cooking, okay? If you want to sear something, that's different. But as a general rule, slow cooking is better cooking. Do not crank your oven up. Now, we have a gas oven, so the temperature difference is a little, it varies. But as a rule, cook lower, not higher. Okay, you have way more control of your food and how it's going to turn out in the end. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to let this cook out. It's probably going to take us about 15 minutes, maybe even 20. Who knows? And oh, I forgot to mention, what I used was a half a cup of orange peppers and a half a cup of green peppers. Okay, with spaghetti squash, it's basically white. So you want to add things that are going to add color to it. Okay. So you want to make it, it's going to taste fantastic, but you want to make it look fantastic. Because remember, you eat with your eyes first, you eat with your mouth second. All right? I'll see you in a bit. All right, so we're sauteing these up, letting them get nice and tender. Take a ½ ounce of pureed garlic, okay? Not rough chopped, not anything like that. You want it to spread out, okay? Then, because we like things spicy in this house, ½ ounce of chili flakes. Okay, remember, like I said, you want to add flavor and create flavor. Okay? There we go. Now we're starting to look good. Okay? Alright. Alright, so we've got our onions and peppers. They're all reduced and they're all cooked up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit of splash of pinot grigio. It's going to give it a little, we're just going to deglaze them a bit. Give them that nice flavor. Got a little bit of charring going on, which is nice. Okay, those onions are perfect. Gonna add some tomatoes. Mix those all in.
Which you love.
Which I love. I love tomatoes. So we got some nice sort of burnt flavors there with the... Oh, and I forgot to mention, the reason that I added the garlic afterwards, because garlic, when it burns, it stays in the pan. So add it after you've done your vegetables, okay? Because then it'll just meld with the vegetables and it won't burn up. Oh, bless you.
Thank you, honey.
So we've got all this sort of mixture going on here. The onions are going amazing. We're going to let that saute for about another... you know what? Screw it. Let's just do it now. Okay. Spaghetti squash. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All goes in. Just like that. Can't find my tongs. That's okay. Put it over top. I found my tongs. It's magic. Magic of television. Now again, this is a huge squash we used. Okay? So we got lots of... This is enough to feed like 4 people. Fortunately, I'm only feeding my wife, which is just enough food for her.
Not funny.
Funny.
No.
Kind of funny. Mm-mm. So take your squash and your mixture. Spin it all around. Get it in there. The key thing here is you can do your squash an hour before, a day before, whatever, because it's not going to change on you. All right? All you have to do is reheat it. If you cooked it correctly, it's going to stay nice and tender all in there. All right. So now while we're doing that, we're going to add about 2 ounces or a small can of black olives. Okay. Again, we're creating flavor, adding flavor. All right. Because we start off with basically nothing. All right. Visually, we want to make it look good as well. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now we're starting to look a little better here. There we go. Now, grab your serving bowl. We have many bowls here. Not my choice, but they were necessary apparently. Ask her. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your spaghetti squash, you're going to put it in your bowl. Now, only fill it half full. Okay? Then what we're going to add some queso fresco. Now, queso fresco is a Mexican cheese. Okay, it's an unripened cheese. It means like fresh cheese, basically. It's not salted, so it has a very light taste. It's good to give something on if you have a heavier item, enchiladas or pork chops or anything like that. You can add this and it gives it a lighter flavor. It's not very buttery, but it has that sort of creaminess that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some queso fresco to this, just the bottom part, and we'll be generous. There we go. Now, if you're diet conscious, this is not the way to go, but I don't care. Okay, so you want to mix that up. Now, queso fresco won't last that long when you buy it from the store. It's going to stay for about maybe 3-4 days kind of thing, okay? And what you want to use, you want to use the ambient heat of the pasta to sort of melt it out. Now, there we go. Now you've made a mess in your bowl. Circle it, clean it, just like that. Take one more little bit from it, put it on top. All right, so you put that on top right there. All right, now take your cloth, give yourself a rim like that. And what I use is cilantro. I love the airy smell of cilantro. I love the feel of it. A lot of people don't like it. You can use parsley, you can use basil if you like, that kind of thing. But I love cilantro. So I'm just going to sprinkle the cilantro over top, just like that. And to kick it up just a little bit, because we've already got some garlic in here, some chili peppers and that kind of thing, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of pomegranate seeds all over top, just like that. And that's going to give it some color. And pomegranate seeds are great in antioxidants and all kinds of good stuff. And this is what I consider a spaghetti squash meal. Now you can eat it with chopsticks if you like, or you can eat it with a fork, or you can do whatever you want with it. If it's me, I'm baking it in cheese. If it's my wife, she's having it just like this. All right? Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again.